Hello and welcome to Youth in Sports, where every Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. we feature special guests from near and far. The program is sponsored by ATI Physical Therapy, providing certified athletic trainers to more than 30 area high schools and colleges. First State Orthopedics, the team taking care of Delaware with a commitment to excellence. And Wilmington University, where Youth in Sports is produced by the College of Technology's students and faculty. And now, from the studio at President Jack Barcelona's Wilmington University, your hosts for Youth in Sports, ALSSM Mr. Sports Medicine 2012, Dr. Michael Axe, UD and St. Elizabeth's own Dr. Joseph Strait, and co-founder of Youth in Sports, Mr. Walter Laudine.
Good evening and welcome to Youth in Sports. We're back for the fall segment of Youth in Sports, and we're tickled to death to be here. This is our 22nd year, and I think it's our 5th at Wilmington University. Got a great show for you tonight. I'm Walter Laudine, and Mike?
Yeah, Dr. Michael Axe of First State Orthopedics, and we're excited to have several of my friends and colleagues on to talk about an obvious topic, the obvious program.
I'm Dr. Joseph Strait, and Walter, 22 years. I didn't even think you were that old.
Joe, I'm going to pay you that money that I owe you. It's okay.
You already did that earlier. So.
But it's not true. Walter is not dead. He's still with us, and this is proof that he's still on the show. Despite the rumors that you might have heard. And are you going to introduce the guests?
Well, Mike, why don't you introduce this organization? Because it's a great organization. We've got three wonderful people here.
And the two of us are part of it, just if you didn't know that.
There you go.
Okay.
The
Medical Society of Delaware is a group of physicians throughout the state that have the same ideas that they would like to make the state better, and knowing that they have to unify in order to accomplish that is what we've chosen to do. And our president, Dr. Stephen Kushner, who's also my family physician, is on with us tonight to talk about a program that he has been a big proponent of called the Obvious Program. And we'll get into a lot of that later. But the organization has been a way for which physicians can go out and communicate with the public. They give us the resources to be able to have information available and to take care of all the needy folks in this area, some of which are more needy than others.
Mike, I have a question I'd like to ask Dr. Kushner, and our other guest is Mary Judas. Mm-hmm. Get that right, Mary?
Yes.
And Jessica Hedden. And Dr. Kushner, can you explain, I know Mike briefed on it, but explain what the Medical Society does.
The Medical Society is an organization that represents the physicians, and we have a mission statement that we go and help the doctors, help the folks in the community that they take care of. So we are 1,600 members strong, and we've been in an organization, we're actually the third oldest organization in the country. Which is pretty outstanding.
Go ahead,
Mary gave me numbers. I want to know. When did this? It was 1700s.
Our history is very rich. 1776, a few
Ben
physicians...
Franklin was in it, right?
They were right up the road.
Franklin was never a physician.
He was everything else.
He was.
A few physicians got together in a tavern in Dover and decided we're going to establish a medical organization. It started that way. And by the time 1789 rolled around, we were one of the first organizations in Delaware incorporated in the state. So we've been here for a while, and in fact, we're going to celebrate our 224th annual meeting this November.
Wow, that's great.
And I did get another number. Steve, I don't know if you know this, you're the 170th president of the Medical Society of Delaware.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, let me ask one question, and I think Mary and I kind of browsed about this. If it's the medical organization and you get strength by numbers, why wouldn't you allow, other than doctors, like nurses, nurse practitioners, those kind of people, why wouldn't they need to be advocated for also? I know they have their own organization, but wouldn't it be beneficial to scoop them all in?
Well, it's not a bad idea and not a bad thought.
I'm an idea guy.
Yeah, that's good. But the society has been structured as a physician organization to help the physicians help everyone. That's down in Legislative Hall and a number of other avenues and things in our committees that we have in the medical society. I don't think we've ever investigated expanding it out, but there's certainly a lot of continuing medical education programs and things that we set up that we certainly invite the masses and folks that are in education and
How about dentists?
Yeah, I was
Dentists
thinking
as
the same
well. Yeah, it's a good thought, and certainly something to take under consideration.
Well, Mike, I was going to ask about the fact that incorporating all those people, and do you see any deterrent for that?
We just want to get more of the physicians to join. What we can't believe is that the physicians that are part of our state haven't realized that this is a resource for them. And Dr. Straight, you are on the Young Physicians Committee, and you just had an event at your house.
I did. A few weeks ago on a weekend, we had an event at my house, and we had a few doctors and their families show up. It was for friends, family, children, everybody that was associated with the Medical Society's Young Physician section, which
And
is
that's how old?
45 and under as of right now, and that's starting to build. But we're trying to get more people out there and have more social events so that people can meet each other's families and start to make some inroads with each other in the area.
Yeah, I think that time is at a premium for the doctors, and it's oftentimes difficult. They're training and very busy. It's hard for cutting out time for family and going to meetings and things like that. But they have to realize when they're as busy as they are in their office, they need an avenue. Physicians need to get together and really, present themselves going forward to try to have a group, like an organization, like a medical society, to carry kind of the
Well, Mary
flag
told
for 'em
us
and get
it
things
started
done.
back in a brewery down in Dover. It sounds like they went to a bar and started the medical society.
And they're still doing it. What about, now this is a Delaware program, correct? Because I know that my son-in-law belongs to something in New Jersey.
Well, they have a medical society in New Jersey.
Are you all together for every state?
Each society
I mean, you
has
all
a
have the
separate-
same kind of needs.
Oh, sure, and we go to their conferences
You
and
do?
things as well, so we share a lot of great ideas together, so yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
No, I think, Walter needs to go further with this. Yes, every state has a medical society. The medical societies are represented at the American Medical Association.
Then you have the AMA, which is the American Medical Association, is the large group that everybody's under in a sense.
And basically
each
it's an
state.
advocate group.
It is a group of, yes, advocate is probably a little bit strong, but it is a group where ideas that may be in the region or throughout the United States are shared with the common denominator to make sure that the legislators who are making the rules understand the impact that they have on the delivery of health care throughout this country before they make a rule and realize it's a bad rule.
So in other words, I wouldn't use the word publicist or lobbyist.
No, we have, in
You
order
have
for us to
lobbyists.
be heard, each of the organizations, both the medical society, we have a person who makes our legislature here in the state understand what we feel is a solution to a problem for which we may have identified or been asked to respond to. Is that fair?
We have a legislative committee that indeed has our own lobbyist, and a couple of members of our MST team are lobbyists that go down in Dover and try to force legislation through that's in the best interest of our patients.
Well, I asked Mary, I said, well, give me an example of what you do, and she brought out that the state was coming up with a 8-hour, Mary, you explain it.
The prescription monitoring.
There you go.
Well, it's a prescription monitoring program that we have in the state, but addressing the problem with prescription drug abuse. What I was explaining before is if the medical society didn't exist, therefore we weren't involved in developing a program here in the state, what it started out to be was a mandatory 8-hour education for physicians to take.
Which legislators set up?
Through the state
Legislator.
the Division of Professional Regulations.
Okay.
But through discussions and getting experts in who are the physicians that are there day to day doing the work and have a great understanding, you know, the mandatory education, not that we did not think education was not needed, but you don't want it to be overwhelming, a burden also. So right now it appears to be 2 hours of education every 2-year cycle with 1 hour Delaware specific education, which is a one-time thing when you get your controlled substance license.
So what you did, you took a political decision and made it a common sense decision.
Exactly.
And I can relate to that in that a realtor every year has to take an ethics course. Every year. And you can understand what I'm talking about. Makes sense, doesn't it, Mike?
Well,
Or it makes no sense.
No. The issues always come to pass that we have physicians in different phases of their career. We have the physicians that hardly practice anymore, and unfortunately that is a large constituent of the medical society. These are people that grew up with the idea, it was their idea for a number of years, they faced a lot of issues, and they're older now, and they unfortunately are the only ones that attend our conferences. The average age for our people coming is about 65, and that is not the average age of the physicians in Delaware. You also have the group that's currently practicing and are busy, but those of us that are here right now, including Dr. Kushner, there aren't a whole lot more people that are a whole lot more busy than I am, and you can find time to get everything done. And it is important that you understand the information, otherwise how can you communicate it to your colleagues or more importantly to your patients? And then we have the young kids who think that what they have to say doesn't matter yet. And that's really the group that I'm appealing to, and that's why I've asked my son, who's already joined as a resident, which is not common practice, but he wanted to be part of it. This is his state, and he wanted to know what was going on, so he elected to join. And he's doing it from afar in Alabama currently, and then he'll do it up at Harvard, and then he'll be home. And he'll be hopefully that young group that draws the other young doctors in and says, yo, it's important to be part of this. You have a voice, and you need to have a voice, and don't be complaining about your voice not being heard if you don't exercise it.
You know, it's
That's
ironic you
definitely-
say that, because when I was in the horse business, I was a young man. I had opinions, strong opinions, which came out to be true. And because I was a young man, it was ruled by older people. And it all's changed now. And I think the medical profession, is it changing too? Where
No,
young
we've always
people
had
are-
it. I've always felt that I had a voice. The problem has always been,
Somebody to hear it?
no,
I think
they've heard it
it's
well.
more about being involved.
It's involved.
You have to put yourself out there and be involved and show interest. And I think that that's what we're looking for now, is that the younger people in the 25s to 40 range need to get out and be actively involved. And whether it be in like the school health committee at the medical society and be active with the kids in
Well,
middle
just
school.
tell us the committees that you're on.
Right now I'm on the program. We'll be right back. I'll tell you that after the break.
They're whispering to us. We have 5 more minutes left, or 4?
Actually, they're telling us we have 30 seconds, so I
30
can go
seconds.
into it. I'm actually on the program committee, I'm on the membership committee, and I'm on the school health committee at the medical society. And getting away from the legislation stuff, I think that's where we're leading now.
It's really true. We have to get ourselves out of the silos that we're in our practice environment and really make a...
We'll be back in 1 second.
I will keep dancing on point, even if it hurts.
My arm is killing me. I don't know if I can pitch another ball. But I'll just play through the pain anyway.
I have to do the big stunts. To look better than the other cheerleaders, our tosses are bigger.
My elbow really aches, but I got to keep practicing.
Don't tell them it hurts. It'll take you out of the game if you do. I have to push harder if I'm going to get a scholarship. I'm feeling dizzy, but I don't want to tell anyone.
Everyone's counting on me. I can't rest now.
Nearly 50% of all sports injuries sustained by middle and high school students are from overuse. Don't play through the pain. See your healthcare provider and follow their instructions for rest and recovery. Take the pledge. Become an advocate for sports safety. Visit stopsportsinjuries.org.
Hi, we're back on Youth in Sports. We're talking to the Medical Society of Delaware, and they have a new program out, and it's called Obvious. And who wants to start with explaining it and what it is?
I think I better take that.
Go ahead.
Walter. Each year, the new president coming on for the Medical Society usually has an agenda of things they want to accomplish. And this year, just thinking things through, I thought, I'm a family physician in the community. I have 3 beautiful young girls. I want to do something for the kids. And so I decided this would be a good avenue to explore that. And so I did. We came up with an initiative that addressed our young people in Delaware and identified 7 problems that I thought were very important to address in Delaware. That being obesity, bullying, vaccination underutilization, a thing called intelligent decisions, opioid use, underage drinking, and suicide.
Way to go, Doc. I was ready for you, buddy, if you stalled.
Thank you. Catch me on that. I've done this so many times I sometimes forget. In any regards, as you can see, each one of those items, if you take actually the first letter of each one of those particular topics, it spells the word obvious. So when people say, Steve, what's wrong with the kids in Delaware? I say, well, it's obvious. And if you look at each one of those topics, you can break them down. Obesity is a national epidemic. It's an epidemic here in Delaware. Delaware ranks 19th in the nation as an obese state. 1/3 of adults nationally are obese. It's a real problem. We have to get into the schools and talk to our young folks about this and really kind of get a grip, kind of get a handle on this. Bullying has garnered national attention, just like
the internet's
obesity.
really brought that out.
Oh,
too.
Absolutely. Not only now, you're exactly right. Cyberbullying has become a big issue
One
as
of
well.
the big things.
Vaccinations actually is an area where we've done some improvement. A lot of folks have improved our rates of vaccinations, but there's some vaccines out there that we chose to kind of identify that may need a little extra push. The human papillomavirus is one that has been associated with cervical cancer, and so there's a new vaccination out called Gardasil that was originally targeted for our young women to prevent cervical cancer prior to having relations. Now it's targeted for the guys, and so both the men and women are going to hopefully buy into this. It's unfortunately not just one shot, it's 3 shots and relatively.
By age?
Or early age.
Okay.
Starting at age
I'm
11,
done, right?
11 to 26.
I'm done.
In any regards, we could definitely prevent this particular cancer by preventing this infectious disease. So going intelligent decisions, and I'll explain what we've done going out to the schools. We picked a couple of areas where we thought were really important, such as no texting and driving. Texting and driving is responsible for more crashes and that we care to mention. And that would be one area to address to try to get the kids to stop doing that. 5-hour energy drinks. Those things are loaded with caffeine, they're loaded with sugar, but they're not loaded with much else, nothing really of any substance. And some of the ingredients in them are really not very well studied in what they're proposing, and I hate to see all the athletes supporting these types of drinks. I'll just quote a study. One of the ingredients, gluconeroid, that's in, I'm sure I messed up that word, is an ingredient that's in there that was studied 40 years in Japan. And all it did was, in laboratory rats, it helped them swim faster, so in the laboratory. if you, there are no human studies. So if you are a person that is perhaps not of the best moral personality and considered a rat, take up swimming, because it'll help you improve swimming faster. The other ingredient, taurine, it's in that particular drink where it's the bile of bulls. And so Red Bull, and that component is in that drink, has shown to show some lowering of cholesterol in females. But to be honest with you, I think there are other products out there that are much better in helping lower cholesterol in our gals than that particular product.
So we talked about texting and some of the drinks. Anything else in Intelligent Decisions?
Yeah, well, we kind of stuck to those
I think that's fine. So then we went on and we talked about opioid use.
Substance abuse.
Yeah, I got you. And this is a bigger problem than people realize because it's cheaper to buy heroin than it is to buy OxyContin.
But not even that. Just looking in the cabinets of the parents, the kids are being able to pull out the medications there and overutilize them.
It's the access to it because it's out there so much, and that's why the prescription monitoring program has come out.
Right. And we really got to, I think, to address that issue, focus on drug take-back programs and things. So we get a number of medications that are written for that maybe the patient used 1 or 2 of those products, and after that, where the pills sit, they sit in a cabinet and they're easily accessible to young folks. So we kind of have to address that issue.
I think that is very important. I think that's probably in, I don't want to say every household, but a large majority of households.
I asked the grandparents to lock it up. It isn't necessarily your grandchild that's an issue, but what is an issue is the people they bring to your house, and they know where to look.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we still get it. Dr. Kushner and myself, Dr. Straight, always get phone calls at least once every Monday about someone whose medication had inappropriately been taken by someone else over the weekend when they weren't home. Underage drinking.
Yeah, a problem at public
What's
and
changed
private
about
schools.
it now? I mean, is it worse now than you think than it was before?
Well, that's a good question.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you why. Television is the biggest medium in the world. I'm a television watcher, Mike, and because they're ours, they're not. Every TV show, every one, every star have wine, beer, scotch. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like if you're not drinking wine with dinner, you're a heathen.
Right.
Now, I know there's a lot of people, I don't drink alcohol anymore, but I know there's a lot of people that enjoy alcohol. But do I have to see it on television, on every TV show? Every young show, they're drinking beer in the bar. And in fact, most of the shows are about the bar. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
So a young kid that's watching that show, it's all publicity. They took cigarettes, you can't do that. So there's no smoking on the shows anymore.
Right.
But they're drinking like fish.
Right. It's the most commonly abused.
That's the problem, and that problem is going to intensify.
I mean, it's legal. Yeah. It's easily accessible through, a friend that's 21.
Yeah.
The issues also come with driving. A lot of kids are just starting to drive and
Absolutely.
And it's
drinking on
binge
top
drinking.
of it.
Binge
It is,
drinking is responsible for 90%.
Exactly, and I don't understand. Mary and I were talking about young people and
Okay,
what
so
they think.
I think the issue stems around the leniency that parents think that it's okay to have at the graduation party in high school, folks come over and to serve alcohol to kids that are not 21. Now, I have mixed feelings about once you're in the service. I think you've earned your stripes. If you can go off and fight for our country, I think it's okay. I don't agree with the 21.
18, right.
At 18. No, I think that's something that you get a waiver for having the maturity and serve your time, so to say. But I caution parents out there with their endorsement of that kind of behavior at their parties. I just don't think it's a good idea.
One of our objectives on having the Medical Society campus lectures is to engage the parents and really kind of show them the statistics and things like that.
that's what's excellent about your program is that you're not just in the schools, you're also in the schools at later hours where the parents can come and you're talking to families together, kids and parents together. So that's what's nice about the Obvious program.
Thank you. Let me finish up with this suicide, as you know.
I wanted to go with
It's a big one.
Yeah, Sussex County. It pains me to hear that 11 of our youths in January through March 2012, we lost 11 in that short period of time. So much so the CDC came in to investigate, and 4 of those youths were from the same school. I mean, this is a real problem. And it's something that really needs to be addressed. And
I can't even understand that.
Yeah.
And as a doctor, I can't understand it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to deal with it, when you don't understand it.
Yeah,
Well, you're kind of mixed with mixed emotion. I think as parents, we want our children to be the best they can be, and certainly asking them to perform at that level can be frustrating at times. But not asking them to perform at that level just displaces that role to somebody else in the future that hires them. So I don't know what the right answer to that is, and hopefully in our subsequent segment, maybe we can address maybe those two topics, underage drinking and suicide, and go into some depth into that particular thing. But you got an event coming up.
Oh, we do. But before I go to that event, I'll say what our program and initiative did want to do was be an outreach to the schools. So we collected up a number of our physician volunteers, everyone purely volunteering, and asked the schools, of these 7 topics, which ones do you want to hear? And we were very thrilled that the Red Clay School District stepped up and said we wanted a talk on underage drinking, a week prior to prom time. And we were able to service that and get that done. We talked about suicide as well to one of the schools, and if we just reach out and get one person who comes up after to talk to him and kind of talk about what's going on, and we've engaged one person and we saved one life, we're really doing a good thing.
I mean, it goes through all of them, because the suicide, with all the stressors that they deal with, and with the drugs and alcohol and the bullying now.
Right.
I mean, it's pushing kids into depression and kind of flow together.
Yeah. We also, again, as part of this, the obvious campaign was to engage the parents of the kids that were going out to the schools, and then school educators. So we had a campus lecture at our MSD building, in which
a lovely building, by the way.
The docs and other members of the community were asked to give a lecture. And on Wednesday evenings, we had a very good attendance and a lot of passion at those meetings, as you can imagine. And it was a great outreach to the community.
Did you film them? Did you film the meeting?
Mary?
No, we actually didn't have the capability to do such, but our goal is to take this across the state once we get rolling, and when we're going to talk about our event coming up, it's going to help us to be able to do that.
This was our inaugural kind of going out there and doing this, and it has really blossomed. And so we were going to explore those things, especially downstate, to reach
There's
the folks.
seven topics, each with a lecture in that topic, correct?
Yep.
And this is unlike, we'll get to the school health committee, where we try to hit 10, 12 things in 28 minutes to give 7th and 8th graders kind of a direction to look. This is much more in depth than that. This is designed for high school age, correct?
It is. It is. Yeah.
And adults.
Perhaps
for
maybe
parents.
even looking at pre-high school age now that we've seen.
Well, we like
problems.
7th and 8th,
Yeah.
and that's what the school health is.
Right.
We have a minute. Talk about your event.
Well, thank you for having me on, and all of us on Dr. Axe. The event is the 5K, the Campaign for Kids 5K Walk and Run. It's going to be Sunday, September 22nd at the Riverfront in Wilmington, right at Dravo Plaza. It's open to kids of all ages. We're going to have, in conjunction with the Run and Walk, a health fair. So we have 16 to 17 organizations who are going to come provide information. We have the Mental Health Association. We have Brandywine Counseling, Christian
Money,
Care.
does it cost to participate?
Well, actually today there was a $5 off coupon, the registration fee. I think that ended, but it is $20 to register. You can go to the www.medicalsocietyofdelaware.org to sign up, and we'd love to see you out there. Registration opens at 8, the race is at 9.
We'll come back to that right after this.
What does opportunity mean to you? At Wilmington University, it means providing a personalized educational experience where students learn anywhere at any time. Wilmington University provides a variety of ways to complete your degree. Choose the flexibility of online learning, or attend classes during the day, in the evening, or on weekends at locations throughout the region. It's your degree. Choose how you earn it. Personalized education, affordable tuition. That's the difference at Wilmington University. What does opportunity mean to you? At Wilmington University, it means finding an innovative degree program that fits your goals and prepares you for a successful career. It means finding a school that fits your life. We know the importance of providing individual attention, affordable tuition, and unparalleled flexibility and service. Because at Wilmington University, it's not about meeting your expectations, it's about exceeding them. Personalized education, affordable tuition, that's the difference at Wilmington University.
Hi, we're back on Youth in Sports. We're talking to the Medical Center of Delaware.
Society.
Medical Society, excuse me, and learning a whole bunch of things. And I love their Obvious program because they're important things that kids need to learn. And I know you're starting, Mike, you were telling me about going to the junior high or 6th or 7th grade.
No, the school health committee that we've had on the show before has done topics like this to the 7th and 8th graders because it was our thought that, and we've covered these topics in brief, plus a few others. But I like the way it's been formulated by Dr. Kushner into those 7 topics, and probably our committee will make an adjustment since Dr. Strait and I are both on it. And Dr. Fan, who's the next president of the Medical Society, who's our chairperson, has handed it off to Dr.
Tony
Biaschetto. And he'll be taking it forward. So we'll probably cross over so that we're given the same message.
Excellent. We want to talk to Jessica about the
event.
The 5K.
Yep. So
Go, Jessica.
It is on Sunday, September 22nd, again at the riverfront in Wilmington. I briefly stated before, we have lots of organizations that are going to participate in our health fair. So it'll be a great opportunity for runners, parents, kids, friends to come get information about the obvious topics.
Registration, you said, is online?
It is online,
Okay.
yep, at the medicalsocietyofdelaware.org. Campaign for Kids, click that. It'll take you right to the link, and you can sign up to run or walk, either one or both. So make sure to do that. Registration goes up on the 19th. Goes up to $25, so you want to make sure to register right away.
And what do they get for their $25?
They get a free T-shirt, and we're also giving.
Well, it's not free. It's not paying $25. Okay, so what?
Well, with the $25,
they get.
You get a T-shirt, you get a bag, one of the gym bags.
Gotcha.
With the drawstring. You also get all the information access to the organizations that will be there. We'll have depression screenings. The state of Delaware will be there. We're going to have information, again, about all the obvious topics. So it's going to be a good event. We're also having events and activities for younger children as well. Thanks to our sponsor, Highmark, we have hula hoop, tug of war. So it is really a family-friendly event.
Where'd you get your hula hoops?
Highmark donated them.
And did you, now what do you do with them when you're done with them?
We're going to return them back
to where?
Highmark. Back to Highmark.
Oh, you mean they have a games program?
But they must.
You know, the reason why we laugh, we told you that we had the event for young physicians, so we bought hula hoops, and now we have them as part of the games
Bring them anyway.
program.
Bring them anyway.
And we would like to, and we had the coaches the next day, and the winner of the hula hoop contest was
Joe Hempel.
From St. Elizabeth.
Oh, Joe Hempel, coach.
Yes. Joe Hempel won the hula hoop contest among head coaches that included Butch Simpson and many others.
Cordy
Greeley, and know that the hula hoop did fit over his head all the way down through his waist. He did have to hula.
He did pretty good.
He did pretty well. That's the head coach over at Delcastle.
What's nice about this event that you guys are having is that you're able to tie in a health fair with it.
We are.
Because that's excellent. It gives people time to go through, and sometimes there's cholesterol checks and different things. It lets people look at different things for their health. And
well, good point, Joe, because actually, in addition to the obvious, there will be a number of other things: hypertension, high blood pressure checking and screening, cholesterol. Dietitians will be there for our diabetic patients and things like that. So it's really kind of grown, and a lot of people have jumped on board.
What happens if it rains?
We're still going to do it.
Do you have a tent?
We do have tents.
We have a couple tents, yep. And around the riverfront, the plaza, there are awnings. So if inclement weather arises, people can take cover under those.
And how about beverages and stuff? Should they bring their own sports drinks?
No, we have beverages. We're going to have fruit, granola bars, water for the runners, for people just walking around at the health fair. So for refreshments, there'll be other giveaways and prizes.
What about parking? There's plenty of parking down there?
Oh, definitely. If you're familiar with the riverfront area, there's a lot of shopping areas and the restaurants there, so there's plenty of parking.
Delaware Marathon gets ran there every year, so there's plenty
Preferred
of room.
parking, is there one place you want the people to park preferentially?
Right on Justin Street, there's a huge parking lot. It's right by Timothy's and those restaurants.
Who else can we credit besides Highmark for being big dogs?
Yeah, our platinum sponsor, Karen, which is a drug and alcohol addiction rehabilitation center. It's based in Pennsylvania. They also have other rehabilitation centers throughout the U.S. and actually in Bermuda. They are a platinum sponsor, so thanks to them, we really got a lot of traction and were able to promote and spread the message about the 5K and the Obvious campaign.
I think that's a great organization because we need more of them as opposed to, you know, finding the drug dealers. We need to help the people that are on drugs.
I think we neglected to mention that the funds for this go to the Delaware Education Foundation, which is a nonprofit that will funnel the proceeds back into the Obvious campaign to sustain it and keep it going.
Super.
So we're looking for this being our inaugural event and to continue to do this each year.
All right, Steve.
I want to digress real quick.
Go ahead.
I know that you said that you wanted to do this for the kids, but where was it, when was it that you sat down? I know you became president. When did you say, all right, this is how I'm going to do it? Did you sit with somebody? Did you do this off your own?
Driving in that little car of mine at the top down saying, you know what, I got to do something. And it just started to come to me. I'm thinking, well, what are the things that I address in my practice? What are the frustrations that I have in my practice, especially for the kids? I got to get them motivated. And one of the ideas behind the program, in addition to going out to the schools, in addition to putting a campus lecture together, was to gather up the physicians and to use a template like this when I see my kids in my practice and say, you know what? Instead of trying to worry about whether they're putting their seatbelt on or wearing their helmet when they're riding a bike, what are the things that really matter to these kids? Obesity, anorexia, things like that tie into them. Bullying, you know, it's something that's like taboo. We don't talk about it in the practice. But if I have a template of those 7 things that I can say, have you ever been bullied? Whew, man, that could really help me in my physical exams with my patients. So I'm trying to get the docs to do this in their practices when they screen in their physical exams to look at these 7 things and address them.
I think that you're probably missing a little bit of the boat with we don't have enough time to hit all 7 things in the course of having our office visits. And we know you're notorious for giving everybody all the time they need and being 3 hours behind. But that's you, okay, maybe 2. But that said, there are things that can be done in the wellness programs, and DAFFORT is an organization that's made up of physical education, health, recreation, and dance teachers that are part of this whole. And I think that I had not used them as much on our school health committee project with Healthy Living, but I think that is a valuable, because they have the time to ask the questions, and they probably have the resources to go back. Boys and Girls Clubs the same way. After school,
Resources is absolutely the key word. If we could get the momentum going here, we could start to address some of these things so we don't have 11 kids in Sussex County having, you know, dying from suicide. If we could get it out there.
My next question, actually.
That's the important thing. And in medical society, since we are helping the doctors help our community and serve our community and support our mission statement, we ourselves can be that resource now. We're getting, you know, this program has opened up connections with folks that we've never touched base with before, and it's just only growing. And
I know you want this to keep going further, so that was my next thing is, are you looking to set up like group programs where the kids can go and, I mean, there is, you know, camps for obesity and things. Yeah. Are you looking into that, or is that a thought down the road?
We have a great relationship with the Division of Public Health, who has a healthy collaborative weight program that they're doing. We didn't want to step on anybody's toes, and we didn't want to reinvent the wheel, but we also wanted to bring in the fact that the docs are a part of this, and we really should be. We see it firsthand in our offices, so we have to be a part of it. We want to work with nurses in the schools. We want to work with the Delaware Healthy Collaborative Program, and somehow, some way, morph it into what we think is best for our Delaware citizens.
It's excellent.
You know, you mentioned money, which is the most important thing. And Mary and I were talking before the show about, you know, our kids and my grandkids. And at my age, there are certain things that I wasn't aware of. And I watched a show, I think it was 60 Minutes, where they talked about, I watched the Grand Prix. All of a sudden, the team that's winning is called Red Bull. And I'm like, Red Bull, that's familiar. It's the energy drink. Do you know how much money Red Bull is making? It's unbelievable. $500 billion. Yeah. And that's the thing. They are sponsoring all these things that are outrageous.
Walter, that was what we discussed earlier about intelligent decisions. That was the drink that we were referring to with the
I know, and that's where I heard the name, and I couldn't believe when I saw the car.
Let's do you one more. Now Monster Energy, bigger cans, bigger beverage, bigger dollar.
More
7
caffeine.
times what caffeine you'll find in a regular can of soda.
Right.
7 times.
Unbelievable.
Cannot be good. Cannot be good. Anxiety, tachycardias. It just has so many health implications.
Well, Dr. Kushner, the things, the obvious, okay? And there's still more things. That's the sad part. It's not only these 7 things, it's more that we can throw in there. We need another word. Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Someone had mentioned about smoking, adding that, where's that S and then the
There's
obvious suicide.
so many things.
They actually have a Tar Wars program that the Delaware Academy of Family Physicians promotes, and I didn't want to step on anybody's toes, but that is an equally important issue that's one of the biggest problems that we have in our state. So this obvious can branch out into things, and having that leverage of intelligent decisions, we could put a lot of things in there if folks in the community feel it's important to do.
Yeah, but I also appreciate the fact that you have to choose where to go and how much to go. Having been one of those forces that, well, you do have to do those things. And how do you continue this in your role as president, ex-president, and then you have, you're still going to be, the way I understand it from my partners, and hopefully my partners who's coming up through the ranks, how many years do you think you have to get it so it's on its own, so that it has a mind of itself?
Well, I can't anticipate just that, but I won't abandon the program. It's a good one, and people are excited about it. I had a doctor from Ajipon, a pediatrician, call me up and say, tell me more about this obvious campaign. I'm a Spanish-speaking physician, and I would like to reach out to that group. And I'm like, score, touchdown, right there. We can bring that person and bring that piece in. Isn't that great? I don't know how long it'll take to get this going, but I'm certainly enjoying the ride. And I'll be done in November, and I'm sure we can keep it as part of our school health committee with your permission.
No, we love it. We love the whole idea. But the governor was nice enough to make the second week in November Healthy Living Week. That Governor Markell proclaimed it, I guess, last year, and we worked in that direction because we wanted the focus to be, you know how much the average American gains? 10 pounds between the Thanksgiving and the week after Christmas. 10 pounds. If that doesn't bring obesity to the forefront, so Axe's rule is lose the 10 before you gain the 10.
It's funny you should mention that. We're talking about money again. I read an article about 20 years ago that I'll never forget, and it was in Esquire magazine. We have 30 seconds left, and it said, what would happen to the American economy if Coca-Cola failed? And it was dire. And that's what I keep thinking of. It's just everything's about money. You have an uphill fight. I applaud everybody that contributes to it. And when we get back, we're going to talk to Jessica about the fact that she's bilingual and trying, like you said, to get the other people involved that might not get involved. We'll be back right after this.
I know they never make me play with these guys, but why do they make me train like them?
Training hard is important, and for professional athletes, it's their job. But kids aren't professionals and shouldn't train at that level. Keep kids safe on the playing field and out of the operating room. Become an advocate for sports safety. Visit StopSportsInjuries.org.
Hi, we're back on Youth in Sports with the Delaware Medical Society of Delaware. The
Medical Society of Delaware, MSD.
Having a great conversation. We're talking about all kinds of different things that they're doing, and I'm learning a lot, which I usually do. I'll forget it tomorrow, but that's okay. My age, it just goes. But thanks for being here. We're talking to Mary LaJudas and Jessica Hedden, and of course the president, Stephen Kushner. Thanks for being here. Mary, did you want to, this is the last segment, do you want to throw anything that you might want to champion in your 22 years at the, we've been on the show, this show 22 years, you've been there 22 years.
Well, and she's a mother of a Wilmington University athlete.
Yes, she is. Who's a soccer player.
Soccer,
But
yes.
she was a gymnast and a diver.
Yes.
Two kind of neat sports.
Very athletic, yes. We're very proud of her. Just one comment on the Obvious campaign. As a personal observation, I can see this program really working because being at these public lectures, I see school personnel coming out, not only concerned parents, but there's school personnel, teachers and coaches there. They want to know about bullying. They want to know how do they handle it because the tools aren't there. We have laws in the state, but we're still trying to get them implemented properly. So I really wanted to stress that this is our inaugural program, and I think it's making a lot of headway very quickly.
When are the next talks that are coming up?
We actually have two scheduled to kind of finish out this year. Dr. Margot Savoy will be talking about vaccination update on October 2nd. It's a Wednesday evening, and I believe it starts at 7 o'clock.
7 p.m.
And
at the Medical Society.
At the Medical Society's building. Now, Margot is one of the Department of Family and Community Medicine physicians there, and she'll be great at doing that. And then I will finish up the year of the 7 talks November 4th on intelligent decisions, and hope to cover some of the topics that we talked about today, and that'll be the end of that year. We'll likely keep this going because, again, there's been interest from a number of docs in the community that have approached me to say, hey,
what's your speakers bureau like? How many people, if the schools wanted you to come out and speak, obviously one person can't do that. That's why our school health committee goes to several places, but where you encourage all physicians to be part of the schools they take care of.
Well, we really do. It's small. It really is, Mike, and we're just trying to get more of the docs
How many do you
involved.
need? How many would you like to see as part of your speakers
Well,
bureau?
if we could spread downstate, I'd love to have 20 or so.
Well, how can they get in touch? So if a doctor's out there watching and they want it to be a part of your Obvious program, who do they call? Is it just the Medical Society, yourself?
They can email me or get in touch with Mary, and she'll be happy. Our team knows all about this program, and it can be easy
All
for
right,
them.
to give people a perspective, we have how many members of the Medical Society of Delaware?
1,600, I believe.
And how many practicing physicians do we have in Delaware?
Mary, go.
That's a good question. We estimate around 2,500.
So only half of our colleagues find it important enough to be part of the Medical Society of Delaware in our programs. Ask your doctor if they're part of the Medical Society of Delaware. Might be an important question.
Yeah, and if you're in Pennsylvania like I am with my medical people beside you, my family doctor, I ask him if he asked me a question, you can answer this, and Mike, you can answer this. Well, you as a family physician, he asked me about a gun one time, and I asked him about a gun. He wanted me to show him how to use a gun. But is that a question that doctors are supposed to ask now?
Not in Florida. No, actually, there was some legislation that came out
I
of
heard
Florida
about that.
said
And that's
you
why I
cannot
think-
ask that question.
Well,
But
he
I think
asked
for
me.
safety issues, it's very important that we need to know about that. And again, I don't want to take a stance on whether guns are appropriate or not,
Right.
but I want to keep things as a safety issue. It's a safety issue. And it's been shown in studies at a JAMA in 2005 that you need to take those guns and lock them away, unloaded. And you need to take the ammunition and lock it away unloaded if
Absolutely.
you're going to have them.
Absolutely.
Because we see countless stories of young kids, I mean, preschoolers getting their hands on the guns that have been left loaded on the tables, and the deaths that result as a consequence.
Well, if they're going to
of
do the
that.
same thing with pills and alcohol and with guns, it's the whole stigma. They're stupid.
It really is. So my emphasis on that would be safety issues if you have a gun in the house that you feel you need for protection.
I wanted to turn to another program that happens at the Medical Society of Delaware. It's the VIP and CHAPS program that Jessica is the coordinator of.
Yes.
can you just give us a rundown of what the VIP and CHAPS program is?
Yep. It's the VIP program stands for the Voluntary Initiative Program. That's a network of physicians in Delaware that see patients who are uninsured at a discounted rate or sometimes for free. That's in conjunction with the CHAP program, which is state funded. That is the Community Healthcare Access Program. So basically what I do is patients who can't afford private insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, but they don't qualify for Medicaid or Medicare, they're in that donut hole, you know, they're kind of lost. So we connect them to those physicians to be seen at a discounted rate. We do primary care and specialty care. We have about 700 physicians in the program currently in Delaware.
That's excellent. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
Well, there's two things that run into problems. We, the physicians, can give our care away for free or appropriately adjusted. And certainly anyone who knows me knows that that's been a long part of my career. But I can't speak for the physical therapists and the pharmacists, who are equally important to that overall care. The physical therapists I can speak to because I wear a different hat, and I have those folks who generate a lot of income from my patients. I ask them if I'm going to work for free. I would prefer that they treated them for free as well. But the pharmacists I still have issues with. So tell me how I can handle medications better.
Well, it's great you asked that because the VIP CHAP program, we have a pharmacy coordinator. So the patients not only have access to primary care and specialty care, but we also have a pharmacy coordinator who will personally go through the medications with the patient and see if they can get them at a discounted rate or sometimes for free through the pharmaceutical companies or other programs that they
We hear
qualify.
AstraZeneca talking about it. Do they put their money where their mouth is?
Yep, and then there's lots of Well Vista programs. There's lots of programs out there that the patients aren't aware of, and that's why we have that pharmacy coordinator. She does a great job of getting patients their medication.
I learned something. Do you know about a pharmacy coordinator?
I do. There's a pharmacy
Why didn't you
card
tell me,
type.
Dr. Straight?
I try to keep some things to
We
myself.
also have a nurse that works at the CHAP program.
Tell us about her.
She does
First, identify her.
Her name is Janet Stockrider.
Thank you, Ms. Stockrider.
Yep, she recently joined the Medical Society of Delaware. We're glad to have her. She does something called the HRA, which is the Health Risk Assessment. So CHAP patients, when they sign up, they identify yes or no if they have diabetes, hypertension, or high cholesterol. So Janet will actually reach out to those patients and go over a series of questions, kind of analyzing, assessing their health, if they're taking care, managing their chronic disease, if they've seen their doctor, and if they need to be connected with the pharmacy coordinator or with myself for a primary care doctor.
Do you have a wellness program within CHAPS?
A wellness program?
In other words, right now people would join if they had an illness. They're looking for a doctor. Usually they're sick. How about the ones that
preventative medicine is
there part of that part of the program?
Yeah, both. I mean, we see CHAP patients that come in well, and they just don't want to be uninsured, and you know, if they got sick, and then we also have patients that are very sick.
Is there programs that work with diet and nutrition and things like that as well?
We'll send out information. We'll connect them with resources in the community based on their needs.
And how does
Janet
this differ from Medicaid?
Well, the eligibility goes up to 200% of the federal poverty line, so it gives them a little more. They can earn a little bit more than Medicaid will allow.
I knew the answer to that, but I wanted the listening audience, I'm sure they were asking the same question. And there is no reason why every child under 18 and under, should not be insured in the state of Delaware. There is a program for every one of them. So Dr. Straight and I are still treating athletes who don't know that there are programs in place, parents, for all of your children. They may not be able to insure you, but they can sure insure your kids. So please take advantage of those.
Dr. Kushner, I get the impression that your tenure as the president is ending soon?
It is. In November, there's a changing of the guard, and Dr. Nancy Phan will be, she's an obstetrician
I think we had her on. Yeah, she's a lovely person.
She's the chair of our school health committee.
Yes.
Well, one of the things I think, you know, listening to this, and I know strength is in numbers, Dr. Axe mentioned dentists, but I think pharmacists are another thing that float right in with nurses and all. The more the merrier, and they're all your aims are basically the same.
Yeah.
So, and I don't see why. Do you, Mike? Why it's just physicians, or Joe? Am I missing?
Well, no, it isn't that. But if you've ever been to one of our meetings, we have. It is not always as easy You have strong-willed people that have done things traditionally here in Delaware.
The Narcissist Committee.
No, it's not that. It's that they don't believe in change, and it's been very hard for us to lead the way by example. That change is we change, therefore you need to change as well. The physicians' attitudes that they don't have to adhere to government guidelines and other things have all passed away. We realize that we're not independent practitioners. We're not nearly as big and bad as we might have thought we were. We have to comply with the rules, and if not, we're going to get our hands or more spanked. And it's the change it's almost the last place that they can still voice what can move forward because of our bylaws and because it's structured. To change a rule is four times as hard. Excuse me, Dave. 4 times as hard than not ever writing it.
I just think that the trouble today is just like you're talking about bullying.
2 minutes. We got 2 minutes.
The penalties aren't there. You know.
I don't want to see more people in jail. I want to see a problem corrected. Last comment. Last thing you want to leave us with?
Just a shout out to the Delaware Bullying Prevention Association and the Delaware School Nurses Association for supporting our program.
Great. Jessica?
Just sign up for the race September 22nd.
Is that the only event you got?
No, but it's really important.
No. But is there anything else you're going to have in the future for this program that benefits the obvious program?
That benefits the obvious? Well, we have the upcoming talks in the fall, so they're also very
Are they
important.
charged for, by the way, the talks?
No, they're free.
Free. Talks are free. Dr.
Talks are free.
Kushner.
They're high quality. I'd like to thank you all for inviting us here tonight to promote our 5K run, walk, and to let us share some things about the Medical Society of Delaware. It's been a wonderful year for me. I've had a lot of support from the physicians, and we want to kind of keep this obvious campaign going. So thank you all for inviting us here tonight.
Thanks you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
As we leave on this note, there are a lot of good folks out there that are part of our medical society, and occasionally there's a bad apple. Everybody knows about the bad apples. They are few and far between. Few and far between. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Walter, what did you learn today? Give me the one thing you learned.
The fact is that I just, 10 years ago, I heard an older person say, well, I can either eat or get my medicine. And I think that you people are addressing that. And I think it's a problem. And I think that the issues that you're addressing are important issues. And I learned about the Medical Society of Delaware.
Sign us off, Walter.
Join us next week on Youth in Sports, and join us on the web, www.youthinsports.com. Good night, Mike. Good night, Joe.
Good night.
What does opportunity mean to you? At Wilmington University, it means finding your relevance in the job market. That's why we offer career-oriented degree programs that meet employment needs in emerging fields. Dedicated professors bring their real-world experience into the classroom so you'll graduate with the tools you need to succeed on the job. It's your degree. Make it relevant to your career. Personalized education, affordable tuition. That's the difference at Wilmington University.
This show was sponsored by ATI, the company taking physical therapy to a higher level throughout the country. First State Orthopedics, where Youth in Sports hosts Drs. Straight and Axe are members of the team taking care of Delaware with a commitment to excellence. And President Jack Barcelona and his Wilmington University College of Technology, where each semester this student-run program is produced, directed, edited, and distributed under the guidance of the TV production faculty. Each guest receives a copy of the show, and all shows are available on the web at youthinsports.com.